So hey, here we are. It's Friday and it's been a while, but I finally got my act together. And what we're going to do today is really something I think that will help you to think along lines of pulling your look together. One of the things we've talked before that you want to do is see how many looks you can get out of one piece. We've shown things about, you can contort it, manipulate it, cut it, whatever. But what if you built a line of jewelry with one common element? Could you do that? Or maybe start there and then branch out. Well, you can, and a case in point is what I'm wearing here. They're kind of big. 80s glam. That's okay, if you like that. I do. But there's a little bracelet to go with it. And there's a kind of a nifty necklace. It's all the same thing. It's called a parure. Can you say that with me? Parure. P-A-R-U-R-E. Most of you who come from the vintage world know what that is. No big deal. But for those who don't, a parure is a set of jewelry where you have at least 3 elements or more that go together to make a mini line, if you will. For example, in this case, I've got a necklace. I've got a bracelet. I've got earrings. I could probably have a little brooch out of this, same motif. I could probably make a ring out of it. Then I'd have a grand parure, which would be 5 pieces or more. But that's all one sort of a line. And that's the way the famous jewelry lines did it back in the glamour age, golden age, I think they call it, of costume jewelry in the United States, which would be probably like late 30s up to early 70s. Everything had lines and sublines, and it went out from there with common elements for each season, because fashion lines go by season. That's why if you're going to build a line, you might go with gift. That's what I did, because you don't have to make as many seasons. But anyway, that's another subject. But the common element in this piece, in this parure, is going to be this piece in raw brass, which is FIG 03196 from bisouboutiques.com. Just a little Victorian piece. I can't remember. I think the cost is $165 or $185. Not expensive. So you're going to get the main elements to make this whole line of jewelry. The brass is going to be under $8, and then whatever you put on it. You can use repurposed chain, new chain, little repurposed elements, or some new ones. I'm going to show you. These have cameos, 18 by 13 flamingo cameos from Bisou Boutiques, and the little ceramic roses that come from 1928 Jewelry Company. So come on over here, and I'm going to teach you a little bit more about how I pulled this together, and we're going to work on another parure and put it together so that so that you can see how this comes together using one common element. And then from there, you're going to take it to the next level. Okay, so Javi says whenever I'm ready, we can start. You guys ready? Should we stop for coffee first? Have a Coke? Go watch a show? Come back? No, it's time. Okay. This is the element that's all built on. Fig 03196. Here's a sack. Here's a sack, Jack. As you can see, we got a lot of them, and I got another shipment coming in a couple days. So we got plenty of these deals if you want to try this out. I got lots of them. I love this piece. It's so versatile. You could build a lot of things out of this. You could do tissue decoupage on this. You could do mini collage, which is what we're going to do, like I did on these. These are the earrings I had on. Like I said, they're kind of big for earrings, but it depends. You know, I'm kind of a short person. That's saying it mildly. I don't know if Javi's taller than me or not. I think she's shorter. She's shorter than me still. We're short people. There used to be a song about that, right? Anyway, so, and I don't have much of a neck, so these look, really big on me, but I kind of like big, so it doesn't matter if I'm short. I like big anyway. But if you have like a long swan-like neck and all that, these are going to be just fine on you. But you can see how I've made this. Now, all I did to get this color, and this again is a review, so we're not going to do it in this video. I spray painted them ivory, normally you don't want to go white. Go ivory to give it that shabby chic type look. Take your 0000 quadruple aught steel wool, your very fine steel wool, and distress it a little bit like I did on these. These are the ones we're going to work on today. And that's the ivory. And then all I did is I took a little bit of patina gilder's paste on my finger and rubbed it around on here. Here's the bracelet. Is that showing up, Javi? Let me take the necklace off and show you too, if I can get it off. I'm kind of fiddly. That's what happens to you when you get old, you get a little fiddly. Here's the necklace for my parure. And I see that I got this backwards. This piece should be on this side because I like to have the piece with the extender on the other side. I always make my necklaces with the extender. Once it's on, it doesn't matter though. But, anywho, I used vintage chain. This is vintage handmade chain. I'm going to use it again today. You can make a look like this. We have some little segments and bars and things like that that you can make, or you might find it in some repurpose. Or you can just make a beaded chain. Or you might use some of the chain from our website. The bead and link chain would be an awesome choice for this. I don't know if I have any here. Sitting here to show you what I mean by bead and link chain. Yeah, just a sec. I'm going to get it. I'm going to reach right behind me here. And here it is. This is bead and link chain. Now this is silver, so I wouldn't be using it on this, but this is our beautiful bead and link chain. So that would be, that shape would go very nicely. We have lots in stock. I would use gold or brass ox. Anyway, usually you're going to want about 18 inches of chain with maybe a 2-inch extender when you do this. But anyway, that's all I did. Spray paint it ivory, distress it a little bit, patina gilder's paste. And there you go. I'm not going to make any color on these. I kind of like them the way they are. I finished the fronts by spraying them lightly with Krylon matte spray lacquer. You could do satin too. I would not do gloss. It's going to be too gaudy looking. It's going to look cheapy deepy. Usually when you go with a matte or a satin finish, it looks more artsy and expensive. That's my opinion. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little review of punching holes, because we got to get some holes in these if we're going to make them work. So I've got one hole in this one. Is that on camera? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've got my bench block, my steel bench block out. And I'm going to make a little ding, you see right here. And I'm going to need, where's my, oh here it is. Boom! There goes my little picture that I need to hang up. But I got my little pilot ding in here, and it makes it very much easier for me to use my nice hole punches, which we carry in the tool section on the website, and get my hole in there. So I look for my pilot ding, and I go ahead and punch it. And then I'm going to just kind of wiggle it a little bit, and then take it out. And then I found that for my jumps that I have here on hand, this hole is just a little small, so I'm going to take it. Did you know you could take a round nose pliers and just broach out a hole a little bit and make it just a little bit bigger? Did you know about that? Doing that? Oops. So I've made it just a little bigger. If I needed it a lot bigger, I'd have to take it over to the drill press. But I'm not going to need to do that because I have these nice 10mm jumps here and my jumpy tool, which if you don't have a jumpy tool, run straight to BCBoutiques.com and get yourself one, because it's just the best thing. You see how I'm turning my jumps on that. And I'm just going to run this right through here. So it'll be saving the hole for me. Because, you know what, in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and put on here, this will be the piece I'm going to use for my pendant. So I need another ornamental jump, so I'm using this item. This little circlet. It has a pattern to it. It's really wonderful. And unfortunately, I do not know the SKU number for this. But if you type in like the word circlet, C-I-R-C-L-E-T, into the search box at bsuboutiques.com, you're probably going to get it. We have it in a bunch of colors too. I cannot live without these, and they're not expensive either. Anyway, I'm going to put one on because I'm going to have to run my chain off of it, or it's going to look kind of wonky, or I'm just going to have to run it off of another jump. And I don't know, just makes a nicer finish. So now I want to get this really good and flush, and that's not happening. So I've got to keep working at it a little bit. Always want to get your jumps as tight as you can so they don't work loose. Now this guy wants to come down here a little bit, but that's okay. You know, in fact, you know, we're just kind of working at this together, and that's how it is a lot of times with me. We just kind of have to work at this together. What I'm going to do is something kind of neat. As soon as I find one, I'm going to have to get my drawer. I have these little check glass pearls on, they're already pre-looped. I don't sell them on the site. You can make your own. You need about a 3mm pearl. And they work out kind of nice in there. Hope you're not getting bored already. It's been kind of a hard few weeks. The reason I haven't made a video is because I don't like to say a whole lot about, you know, feeling bad and that, because this is a haven for us to get away from our sadness. But I know a lot of you will relate because you're animal lovers. My kitty died, and he was 16 years old, and he was my therapy cat. Cat was an empath, I tell you. He knew my pain. He did. We all have pain. And he would always come running whenever I was sad. And you know what? I'd use the wrong jump. That's why this is a trouble. I need this one. Durr. Okay. So anyway, the cat was a wonderful cat, and he got stomach cancer and was in the end stages, and I had to have him put to sleep, and it was really hard on me. And I have never mourned an animal like that, but those of you who have understand. So I just I was still over here making jewelry. I got a bunch of pieces made. I've even gotten some jewelry loaded to my website, but I wasn't up to putting a project together for YouTube. So if this is a little bit wonky today, it's because I've been away from it for a bit, and I'm just getting back. And you know what? A lot of you go through that stuff too, so you know how it is. Okay, this is perfect. You see how that, see, we had that thing before where it was hanging down here. You know, these are easy peasy things. These are beginner things, but everybody has to learn these in jewelry making, your placement type stuff, to make your jewelry fit up good. So anyway, this is going to be the pendant, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my holes in the others. I've already demonstrated to you guys how we do it, kind of like a review. First you make your pilot hole, ding it, and then punch it out and broach it. I'm not going to have you watch me do that. I'm going to have Javi shut that off for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then we'll come back in when it's done, so I don't have to bore you to tears. It'll be like watching paint dry. And get it ready, and then we'll collage them and get them ready to make into jewelry, okay? Be back in just a minute. Alright, we be back. And as you see, I've got the pendant set up. Is that showing, Javi? Mm-hmm. So I put some little pearly dangly things on there. We have some wonderful little teardrop, check glass teardrops and ball end head pins at the site if you want to make your own. They're beautiful. We have a lot of pearls lately. Everybody wants pearls, so I'm getting pearls. And then these are the earrings, going to be the earrings here. Get that going around the front. Oops. Well, anyway, you can see. Yeah, I don't want to make you watch me do this. I mean, come on. I'm kind of stammering around enough as it is. Okay, so now we got those two pieces made. Now we've got this piece. This is going to be for the bracelet. So now what do we do? You're going to wear it like this. Whoops, this flipped around. It's a little bit long. Is that going to be any good? What do you think? I say no. Needs bent. So that's easy enough. Let's just take it right here. See, I already signed it. Just use your thumbs. You don't have to do anything elaborate. Just, it'll yield. This is 24 gauge brass. Most stampings are made from 24 gauge. Is this coming out on there? Just bend it toward the ends, okay? Just a little bit. And then it's got a pretty good curve. You don't want too much curve. Let's see how that's going to lay on there as compared to this one. Maybe a little bit more. See, now I want to show you something else too I did. When I spray painted that, I did not clean that off good enough before I put that. Well, I spray painted it, then I distressed it, and then I put the matte spray lacquer on it, and I didn't clean it off good enough, and so I got some little itty bitty things of steel wool down there. But I'm going to cover that up. So, other than that, if it was on the edges, I'd just distress it back off, and then respray it. But that's what happened there, in case you were wondering what that was. Thing is, it's with mixed media jewelry making, there's a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of stuff where, you know, once in a while, yeah, you screwed up and you're going to have to start all over, but in this case, Okay, that's just, what do you think? That's just about right, don't you think? What do you think, Javi?
Yeah, pretty
Look
good.
Good to you? It looks good to me. That's all that matters. No, it doesn't. No, you got to please yourself. That's for sure. You got to. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this piece is I'm going to go ahead and put my bracelet chain, which for this, you're going to probably want a piece 5 to 5.5 inches long, depending on the size of your wrist. There's usually a bracelet's around 7, 7.5. Okay? So you kind of have to work with it. Oops, I got this backwards. This is some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful vintage chain. I don't know if you can see that. I don't have any to sell you or share with you. I'm sorry. But it's got beautiful little bezeled in pearls and little hearts. Once in a while, we have something like this in our Etsy store. Now, we might have only short lengths, but it's really good for doing stuff like this. They usually sell about as fast as I put them on. But if you were to get some from us, or just about anybody, that's where you'd find it. Because this stuff is rare as all get out. It's not something you're going to find very often. But I decided to go ahead and use it. So I want to get my hearts facing up. Normally I wouldn't use a jump quite this big, but I have to because of the place where I had to strike it to make the hole. There was not a better place to do that. So I had a little space to deal with. Okay. So, alright. So now you can see how I have this one made. This is how I like to make my bracelets. Put this on, and this is going to wrap around this way, and it's going to come around this way. And now we can see together, what have I got? I've got too long. I'm going to take a link out of that, because this thing's going to roll all over the universe. So what I'm going to do, but I like to do that, I like to have the closure on the outer knuckle. And the reason I do that with my jewelry, and you do what you want, but the reason I do it is because I have fibromyalgia, and anything that rubs back here drives me out of my mind, even the seam on a jacket. So I don't want my bracelet closure there. I want smoothness there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to take out. Okay, yeah, I got to take this piece off. Fortunately, this is a link, so I can probably get up under there. I hope I don't have to cut it, because I'd like to be able to use that link again. See if I can get in there this way. And pull up. Yep. Now I can use the link again. Isn't that nice? So you can make your own chain out of little links you make. It's kind of fun. You could just sit in front of the TV and watch an old show. Make yourself some links. Okay. So now I'm going to put my jump back on. And it's going to go this way. Oops. Yeah, so now I'm going to put the lobster claw. There may be some adjustments that I'll have to make after we're done, but for now, That's how we're doing it. Okay, that went on. Now I could hang some little pearls or something like from right there. That'd be pretty, little dangle. It's kind of fun when you have, it's kind of flirty little funny thing, fun thing, I don't know, whatever. To like put some little dangles right here on your bracelet. I'm not going to do that today, but it's a thought. It's a way you could expand your line. You could have a bracelet that had some and one that didn't. You could have it in different colors, stuff like that. Okay, now I'm going to run my other jump ring through there. Find the right size to accommodate. And then we'll have virtually everything done except for the embellishing. Woohoo! And I hope you're getting some ideas of like this piece or another piece you could use, and see the idea of a common element, using a common element to develop an idea or a line. Now see, is that gonna be straight? No. You know what I'm gonna need to make that work, because it's coming out sideways, and this is coming in sideways as well. I should have put it the other way too. Anywho, to work it out, and this is the kind of thing that you go through, is I'm going to have to add another jump. But because I have to put another jump, maybe I'll just go ahead, open this back up, and add a couple more little pearl thingies here to make that little flirty thing on the outer side of your wrist. I wonder if one of these work. Discovery, discovery. Hey. Oh, hey. This is going to work. I'm going to do this instead, and it'll be kind of ornamental. Did I get that on there right? Yeah, but now, okay, good. It's working. It's working. Yay, sweet success. Stay on camera. Okay, it's on. Yay. This should be flipped around the other way, I think. I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, now you might be saying, well, yeah, but now, Brenda, you've got this curve in here, so how in the world are you going to embellish it? Well, I'm going to show you how. That's why I've got my little mini anvil out here. Mini anvils aren't good only just for striking stuff and banging stuff, setting rivets, but they're also good for when you want to do an assemblage and you need to get something like this to sit still for you. So I can highly advise getting a mini anvil. I know we have 2 or 3 in stock at this site if you don't have one. Or you might find something else that you've got, I don't know, some kind of can or something that you could prop, that you could work off of. A wooden dowel, maybe. Here's a thought. Mini anvils, I think you need one still, but you know, for this, maybe you could do, you'll put on your hammer. Can you see that? You just need something, you know, to balance it. So a wooden dowel might work. There's some ideas for you, but I am going to use my anvil because that gets it up a little bit more so you can see. Now I'm going to have to make it facing me because I'm making this thing. Now I've got a little pretty pearly vintage cameo. We don't have these at the site. There's something from my own stash, but I'm going to take that and I'm going to lay that pretty little girl in there sideways. And then I have these beautiful, can you see that? These beautiful little ceramic flowers. These are not imports, they're made in the United States. And they're vintage. And if you know 1928 Jewelry Company, they're kind of a signature piece in their jewelry, especially their older pieces. And these are vintage from the 1928 Jewelry Company. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there. Let me get up because I'm sitting. I need to be able to see a little bit better. So this is going to be the basic motif of this whole parure, is this look, this pretty little cameo and this. And then I'm thinking I'll either have some pearls or a little bit of bling. So here's where it's going to get fiddly. Oops. That's pretty, but it still needs something else. Fiddly fiddly. I'm using E6000 glue. Yes, you have to be careful when you're using it, but it is the best glue. In fact, I was watching a show this morning on the Hallmark Channel, and they were doing a crafts project, and they were saying no better glue than E6000. You just have to use it carefully. Don't eat when you're using it. Okay, so now I'm going to have to lay in a couple of pearls to get balance, and there's easier ways in doing this. I just run it right into the tube and set them by hand because that's the way I've done it for years. But there are easier ways to do it now. There's little embelly jellies that you can get and little mini dop sticks and stuff like that, and there's a crystal katana thing that you can lay in flatbacks and things like this fast. I just haven't investigated on that much because I don't know, just have done it this way for years. But I need to look into those things. Now I've got a little tiny bit of glue there to clear up, so. And I'll tell you where that glue is going to show up. You may not see it here, but when you go to take a picture of something you've made, boy, that's when you're going to see all the flaws. Because you're going to see exactly what your customer is going to see. And I'm assuming that a lot of you that are watching me today make jewelry so that you can sell it. And it's also a wonderful gift. Okay, that's what I'm going to do with that. Let me show it to you. Isn't that pretty? It's just demure and nice. Who wouldn't like to have that? You know, if you like Victorian type stuff and pretty jewelry. So now I'm just going to leave it set like that off to the side because I want it to stay still. So now these are vertical. And I think maybe before I put my embellishment on this, I'm going to go ahead and add my chains, which I already have ready, so this is going to take like no time. And like I say again, for this type of a necklace, I'm finding about an 18-inch chain with a 2-inch extender will fit just about anybody. So I have this nice little circlet up here, and I'm going to run it through here. And we do have, I'll put this down, I'll show you. This chain is vintage, handmade chain. But you can do this very easily because you'll see we carry these little doohickeys, these little caps. This is a smaller size, but we carry them at the site. In raw brass, I think we have some in silver now, and we have them in brass ox in a bunch of sizes. And these are just Cultura pearls, which means they're, or MOD pearls, which means that they're plastic, but they're good quality plastic. So you could just sit and do that. I mean, it's basic rosary bead type stuff. I like to mix my chains up. So I had a snip of this kind of chain, which is a rare chain. You know, the only way you're going to get more of that is if you make your own. And then I had a snip of this kind of chain and another kind of chain. So I like to do what I call work a neckline. If you go back through my videos, you'll see, oopsie, you will see videos about doing that. Changing it up, building texture into your neckline. So you can take a simple piece of jewelry and kind of change up a little bit, do a little beading, do a little bit of chain, this and that, and make it really super special, not necessarily have a lot of money in it, or use up scraps that way, which really makes a lot of sense. So now I've got my chain on it. Even my extender. I had this all ready to go. So we didn't have to take long. Oh, God, of course I got it sticky. You can always loosen them up and work with them, and you should check your clasps and things like that before you... What? I may have to change this. I might have a bad one. It's down here in my shop. No, it's fine. Just stuck for a minute. It's fine. Okay, so that's ready to go. Just needs the embellishment. So we're going to do that together. You and me. Easy. We are going to take the lady and put her on there. mini assemblage, guys. It's so fun. Put her off to the side a little bit. Then take my pretty rose, which I don't have the SKU number, but we have lots of these on the site. And I'm going to put it with the little tiny green leaf there sticking in. Then I'm going to see if these are Rosemontees too. I didn't really talk about them. These are high Rosemontees. There's low ones and there's high ones. These are high ones. They're Czech Preciosa and they're not old. I have vintage ones and I have new ones. And that's just right. I'm going to go ahead and do all three. And I'm going to do everything to this except put my ear wires on. Because if I put the ear wires on, it might make it a little bit hard to put the embellishment. So I'll have to do that later. Okay, so we're just going to do this all together and it gets it done faster. And then we'll set our pearls. And that'll be that. And you have a parure. All you have to do is decide what kind of chain you want to use, what kind of embellishments you want to use, what colors you want to paint it and distress it, or if you want to do some tissue decoupage. I'm going to get a little bit more on that. And it's just, that's what makes it different, is what you put on it and what you do with it. And we carry so many things at Bisou Boutiques that you could do the same thing that I'm doing here. And how is it that I know? Well, let me tell you why. It's because, and I think I've told you before, I'm pretty sure I've told you a number of times, back in the 90s, Bisou Boutiques was not a jewelry supply company. Bisou Boutiques was a jewelry company. We had about 300 pieces in our line, and we had about 500 store accounts. Most of them were gift shops, mom and pops, a lot of florists, hospital gift shops. We sold to a lot of hospitals, and some small catalog companies. We sold to the Burpee Seed Company. We designed a brooch for them. We did some specialty catalog companies, some very small department stores. We did military PXs. So we were a gift line, and we were in business doing that for about probably close to most of the 90s. The last order I think I filled was 2001. Why did I stop? I wanted to do something else. I was on the internet by then, and I had gone back to vintage jewelry a little bit, and it was hard to teach people to do my line, which was little fiddly mini assemblages like this, only there was more to them. There were a lot of buttons and stuff, to make them look just like I made them. And people came and went, and it just was time to do something else, that's all. And I don't have no regrets about it, because then I met all of you. I met so many people online, and I thought, well, you know, let me share what I know. Let me share my experiences. Let me share the parts I used. I had a lot of resources from many years of being in business and knowing a lot of people. I have met some wonderful people who have helped me out a lot, and that's why I want to help you. So that's why we have the Build a Line Challenge, which is about to start again. This year I'm only taking 30 people, and I'm going to teach you how to do what I did in that class. And we have it every year, so if you don't get in this year, don't sweat it. You may not be ready for it. This is a very intense class. It lasts 3.5 months. There are 3 blog hops. You have to be able to use a photo editing program and have a functional blog as a tool, and it's very intense and it moves along very fast, because there's a lot to teach you. It could take years. We do it in 3.5 months. And it's amazing what some of the girls who were in the class last year have done with their lines. They have made a lot of progress. and learned a lot of things. Okay, so on these, I would go ahead, and I'm not going to do it online because, like I say, you know, we're going to get into the watching paint dry thing again. But I want to make sure, first of all, that I have this all lined up the same. I do. And then I think I'm going to add some more pearls right in here. Maybe here. And that'll be that. And then, of course, then when this sets up, I'll put my ear wires on, and then I will have another pretty parure. So it's up to you now. What will you do? What will you do with this piece? I'll show you something else real quick before we finish up for today that I did with this piece. This is all finished. I made a doll necklace. More vintage chain. Again, Fig 03196. See, there it is. It's the same piece. I'm going to have to touch that up a little bit, and then I'll sign it. Or maybe I'll just put a sig tag over it. Hung a little bit of Rolo chain. This is a vintage heart charm that I had. These are the little pearls that are wired up. And this is Pinky. And I'm actually going to do a whole series of a doll's garden jewelry. And we're going to probably progress on with doing doll jewelry maybe next week. These are not frozen Charlottes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about these before we take off today. These come from a mold that was used in Great Britain, and they would make these little ceramic dolls, and they wouldn't paint them, but they would use them and put them on a string or something, and they say when you dunk them in tea, it would cool the tea down. And people have actually come back to me and said, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they really did have things like that. Well, a mold was made, and they were made in ceramic bisque and painted, and they're very special because they are from the 1928 Jewelry Company. And in 1980, for about 3 months, this little doll was part of a series or a mini line of stick pins that they made, and they had a whole bunch of them left, and a bunch were sold to me, and I've made them available to you guys on our website. And people have been having so much fun with them. This one's called Pinky, and then there's one that's all blue, and she's called Pauline. So if you'd like to make jewelry out of Pinky and Pauline, go for it, because I don't know how long I can get them, but they are wonderful. And you might want to go over to bcboutiques.com and get yourself a little doll, even if maybe you have a shadow box and you want to keep one just to save it. Part of jewelry making history, and that's where they come from, is a little ceramic dunker thing that they used to put in tea. So next time we get together, which is probably going to be next week, we're going to make some jewelry out of Pinky and have some fun. So come back and see me next week. In the meantime, you might want to step on over to Bisou Boutiques. Let me put her in view so you can see her. She's so pretty. And if you're new to me and you have not shopped at our website before, but you'd like to try a little something, I have something special for you. If you put code NEW to Bisou, I'll put it down in the description of the text for the video, how you have to write it. If you put NEW to Bisou, no spaces, all caps, and the coupon box, if you have a $30 order, you'll get $5 off. And we'll give you a little welcome gifty too for coming over. So you might want to come over and get yourself a Pinky and some ceramic roses and maybe one of these Fig 03196 and get started and see how far you get. Thanks for hanging in there and watching with me today, and remember, no matter what happens to you in life, whether you lose your kitty, a valued friend, a dear relative, you have a financial reverse, something bad happens to you in your life, you might have to step back a bit, but always keep moving. During the time when I felt bad, I was still working really hard. I just didn't have a project for you, that's all. But baby, I was working hard, wasn't I, Heavy? I work every day, all day long. And it's so that we'll have nice things to share with you. So keep moving, guys. Keep a positive attitude, keep your chin up, and make some pretty jewelry. Have a wonderful day.